This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You're listening to the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. And now, here's your host, Lisa Rangel.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the 21st episode of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. I'm Lisa Rangel, host of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast and the founder of Chameleon Resumes. We are an executive resume writing, LinkedIn profile development, and job search consultancy firm that helps executives and high potential leaders land their next position faster. And today's podcast show topic is about 2 ways to network at a conference that you cannot attend. Executives and professionals, people at all levels, all professions, all walks of life, make the mistake of thinking if they cannot attend the conference that it's a lost opportunity. I say no way. While there are specific benefits to attending a conference in person that you're not going to get by not attending, it doesn't mean all is lost. And I'm going to cover here today 2 ways, and they're more than 2, but we have about 10 minutes for our shot of podcast here. But so for our shot of podcast, I'm going to cover 2 ways that you can capitalize on a conference and still network even when you cannot attend the conference. Opportunities lie in your ability to be creative and make the most of a situation. And sometimes you have commitments that prevent you from going to a particular conference. Sometimes budgets don't cover the full expense. Sometimes you don't have the money for it at that particular time. Cash flow is a little tight. How you work around these obstacles to still create opportunity for yourself will put you ahead of other people, will put you ahead of people in your field. Connecting with people virtually when you cannot do so in real life can not only help you learn the trends that you need to learn to stay in the forefront of your industry or profession, but you'll be connecting with people that can help you stay ahead in your field, right? It takes a village. You can't do this on your own. So whether you can make it or not, the key is to still be connecting with people and do it in a creative way. So we're going to talk about 2 ways to do that today. And as always, in the spirit of the Pretend You're Fired Today mantra, the key is to do this before you need it, right? Before you need to tap these resources for a job search. So let's do this. In past episodes, we talked about the only way to truly protect your career from job loss is to pretend you're fired today and make a list of activities that you would do to find your next job. You know, there's no such thing as long-term job security in one job or with one company anymore. The security comes from being in demand when you don't need it. So doing some of the proactive activities like we're going to discuss today to keep yourself in demand when you don't need a job is the key element in this Pretend You're Fired Today action list and the premise for our podcast. So keep your network primed and active so you stay in the forefront of your network's mind and consistently create demand for yourself. We want you to be in demand when you need it. The key then is to build it before you need it. So this way, if your job situation changes unexpectedly, you already have pent-up demand for what you do for these actions that I showed you here today. So as we've said in episode 1, the first thing on that list, on the Pretend You're Fired Today to-do list, is to dust off that resume, get it up to speed. And we covered in the first 8 episodes how to format the resume according to today's trends to have maximum marketing impact. And we've spent the following 4 episodes focusing on the other equally important document for you to maintain, which is your LinkedIn profile. And in the last few episodes, some of the topics we discussed are the 5 most common career mistakes that I see smart people make each and every day. You're going to want to listen to that one to make sure you avoid those. I also covered how to work with recruiters and the business model so you understand how that works, how to stay in demand with your competitors, how job boards really do work and what's the best way to work with them. So these are just some of the episodes that we have in the past. But today, we're going to cover 2 easy steps that you can do to still network at a conference when you cannot attend it. How awesome would that be? Think of how much more of a reach you will have with your network when you can actually network at places you can't attend. So first, let's say you cannot make the conference in any way whatsoever. You're going to be sitting at your desk, your office, in your home. How can you still network? So first, follow the hashtag of the conference on social media when it's coming. And I would even look for the hashtag before the conference starts because people are always looking to network beforehand and they're posting information using the conference hashtag even before it happens. So, I would reach out to people who are in attendance at the conference or who are looking to meet before the conference, comment on their posts, ask questions. I would also see if the conference has a live stream opportunity where you can watch events in a live stream fashion throughout the conference. This way you can participate in social media. And then do what we've talked about in other episodes and in this one here. Reach out to people offline that you meet online. Maybe they are attending the event, or they might be attending the event from afar like you. So all of a sudden you discover somebody, you're sitting in Chicago and someone's attending the conference from Miami and the conference is in Las Vegas. See that you have in common, you're doing this from afar. It could totally lend itself naturally to an offline conversation. So additionally, I would put a shout out to see if anyone is at the conference who's from your area. Let them know that you're not there, but you would love to meet with them when they get back in town. Buy them a meal, buy them a drink. Let them tell you what they learned at the conference. Network over it. Help them with some of the initiatives that they came out of the conference that they want to accomplish. See how you can help them. So your creativity here, it knows no bounds. You can leverage this conference information in any way that you can, and you're really only limited by your imagination. So secondly, in the spirit of being limited or being freed by your imagination, let's just say you can afford part of the conference, but not the entire conference. This could happen for various reasons, right? Say your job is only giving you part of the cost and not all of it, but maybe you can't swing the rest of it this time around. Again, everyone has cash flow issues now and again. Consider flying out to the conference. Not staying at the expensive hotel where the conference is being held, but find like an Airbnb apartment or a low cost but safe, use your judgment, safe hotel nearby, and do the networking aspect of the conference. Make appointments to meet people, network in the common areas of the conference at the hotel, the bars, the lobby area, any common areas that they have set up that you're not going to necessarily need a pass to get in. You can also still reach out to sponsors, reach out to speakers. Ask to meet. They're not going to necessarily ask you if you paid for the conference. So you can just say, hey, I saw you're speaking at the XYZ conference. I see that you're a sponsor of the XYZ conference. I wanted to see if we can meet. People will meet with you. Nobody's qualifying if you paid for the actual conference or not, especially if you're meeting in common areas. Research the learning topics on your own, so you're still benefiting from the knowledge you would get from the conference. And if you paid for that conference and attended those learning sessions, but if you're not attending them because you didn't pay for the conference, you can still network on your own and still follow social media, see where people are meeting outside of the conference in informal ways and attend those. So applying these points and being creative will allow you to genuinely nurture your network and keep it primed for when you need it. Attending the conference, whether you're there in person only on the hotel and the airfare plan and not attending the conference itself, or you're attending from afar and doing it via social media and live streaming, just attending and is showing your commitment to your profession and your creativity to nurture existing relationships and create new relationships shows your commitment to your profession, your commitment to learning, commitment to your industry, and really notches you up in the views of people you're connecting with simply by participating and doing it in creative ways if you can't go in person. And as you meet people, both virtually and in person, say the individuals are from your area at the conference and they meet with you after the fact. So as you meet with people in person or virtually, genuinely listen, be an ear. If you see that you know two people in your network that can help each other, connect them, introduce them, share ideas. And this way, when you're giving of that, when it's your time to need it, I'm telling you, your universe will deliver for you. It may not be from the exact person you've helped, but it will come in other ways. And people will be happy to help you because they know you're always giving. So I'm proud of you for taking these steps, being open-minded to these creative ideas and making yourself marketable right now when maybe you don't need it right now because you're happily employed. Most people wait for that unexpected job change to happen and then try to scramble and backpedal and learn this information while needing to find a new job. So kudos to you for learning and doing it before you need it. So were any of these tactics mentioned today new to you? If so, I'm really happy. That's why we're here. And if they're not new to you, I'm going to pose the challenge to you that are you doing them? It's one thing to know them, but are you doing them? You know if you're doing them, and that's great if you are. But if you know them and you're not doing them, then I want you to take action. So let's take action on today's episode. And all you can do is search for conferences in your field, see when the next ones are coming up, and put them on your calendar. If you cannot attend, I want you to use this checklist to start to get ready for it, attend virtually from afar, and have follow-up. And also, Again, because if some of this was new to you, I would love for you to take our job landing quiz at joblandingquiz.com and see what other job search information you don't currently know that by not knowing would hinder your ability to find a job fast if you needed to because things changed unexpectedly. Once you receive your score on the quiz, you will get access to the free training that we offer that will help you fill in the knowledge gaps and also apply what you learned today. So, and just remember, for the next few episodes of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast, we're going to continue to go through the list of tactics and activities that you need to do now as if you were let go today to ensure that you are always ready for whatever the world brings your way. And the first item on that Pretend You're Fired Today action list was your resume. So we cover that in episodes 1 through 8. This way you can revisit that if you need to. The second item on that list was updating your LinkedIn profile, which you can review in episodes 9 through 12. And in the last few episodes, you're going to want to go through the topic list because they're now becoming a little too numerous to list all individually. But some of the popular topics that I find people are interested in that you're going to want to revisit are the 5 most common career mistakes that I see smart people make every day, how to work with recruiters, and I explain the business model so you know how to capitalize on that relationship, and 3 easy ways to connect with your network when you don't need them. And then the next episode, we're going to go into a completely different angle. We're going to talk about a list of fun activities, non-work activities that you can do when you're not working. If you were to lose your job unexpectedly, I want you to have a list of fun activities that you're going to just keep on the side. Why am I addressing this in the next episode? Because I'm telling you, I went through this myself. If all of a sudden your job is gone, even knowing this precious job search advice ahead of time with stuff to do, you're going to still have some idle time on your hands that's going to mess with your head. So having a list of activities, non-work activities to take a break from looking for a job that you can do ahead of time or have that list ahead of time that you can do will help you stay sane and positive, which is the mindset you need to land a job fast. People want to hire happy, positive people. They don't want to hire Debbie Downers. So my friend saved me with her priceless advice of Pretend You're Fired Today, and I'm paying it forward with you today. And I ask you to share this podcast with as many executives and rising professionals who you feel would benefit from this build the demand before you need it advice. To educate yourself on the actions of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast activity list, go take our quiz at joblandingquiz.com. You will see which activities you know to do and which ones you don't. And then you can take the training that's coupled with the quiz to fill in those knowledge gaps so you're ready. And in the next episode, I'm going to show you, again, we're going to talk about ways, the fun things that you can do while you're not working. So this way you can keep your positive mindset intact. Thanks for joining me today, and we will pick up again in the next episode. Have a great week.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.